Hi, I'm Angie O'Gorman. I work for Dover STLS and I'm the specialist teacher for communication and interaction. Today I'm going to talk to you about communicating using symbols or pictures by exchanging them. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Okay, so the training I'm going to give you today is based on PECS. PECS stands for the Picture Exchange Communication System. Now, it's important to stress that I'm not giving you official PECS training. I'm just going to give you some of the strategies and some of the stages within PECS to help you in your schools. This training is ideal for people with non-verbal ASD children, or it's really good for children who on their EHCPs might have PECS recommended, and it will give you a starting point in order to help them. So PECS is an adaptive system of functional communication intended for individuals with communication challenges. So it can be used for all types of communication challenges, but in particular, it works really well for children with ASD. If you'd like official PECS training and to perhaps buy some of the resources from PECS, official PECS training is offered there at the bottom there, you can see, through Pyramid Education, and there's a link to the website there. I highly recommend you do have PECS training, it's brilliant, and also it'll give you a much more detailed look at PECS and the stages and the correction methods that they use. Like I said today, I'm just doing an overview to help you in your schools. Okay, so what are the goals of PECS? It's to help people with communication difficulties to develop functional communication skills. The word functional there is key. It must be so hard if you can't express your basic needs. So PECS allows you to teach children to express those basic needs. Do they want to drink? Do they want something to eat? Do they need the toilet? Next one there is to develop social skills. Some people say, how can you develop social skills for pointing at a symbol? But PECS is not just about pointing at a symbol. The key there is exchange, picture exchange communication system. What happens is the child makes a request through use of a symbol, but must exchange that symbol with their communicative partner to get that object or to get whatever it is they're asking for. And so there must be that social interaction. So through using PECS, the child is beginning to enjoy social interactions and beginning to know that through social interactions, they can achieve what they want. Next goal there, to prevent and reduce inappropriate behaviours. We've all seen children with ASD who can't communicate their needs, having meltdowns, getting very stressed, maybe running and hiding. PECS gives them an outlet. It gives them a way to express themselves and therefore reduces inappropriate behaviours. To promote and generalise independence, once you start using PECS and work through the stages, you learn to generalise that communication. You learn that actually, I don't just have to go and ask teacher for this, I can go and ask the TA for this. Actually, I don't just have to ask in the classroom, I can ask on the playground as well. So you're generalising those skills and eventually you're becoming more of an independent communicator. Just an important note at the bottom there, that PECS, it varies from child to child. Some children will go on to develop full communication skills. Other children may be PECS users all their lives, and that's okay. In our mainstream schools, you'd expect most children to eventually develop high-level communication skills. But PECS is crucial for helping them develop that. Yeah, and it's just a really good way of visually helping children and easing their frustrations. Lots of people say that PECS doesn't encourage word use. That is just so not true. I've used PECS for a number of years. The adult always models the communication through words. Sometimes it can be used alongside Makaton as well, but words are always modelled. And The child often picks up those words and learns to speak themselves, and it's really good for developing verbal language as well. So what do we need for PECS? Well, to get started, you need some symbols or some photos, if that's easier. Some children respond better to photos, some respond better to symbols, but ideally, we haven't always got access to photos, so eventually getting used to symbols is a really good idea. And we use symbols throughout everyday life anyway, through road signs, signs when we see the toilet. As people, we're forever looking at symbols, so it's a really good thing to use. We can see here, this is a PECS book. This is again available through Pyramid Education that do the official PECS training. But you don't have to use a PECS book. You could create a board of symbols for the child to access. But the key thing here is to have a strip along the bottom which can be exchanged. And you can see on this one, it says, I want water and a cake. And the key thing is they can take that strip off and exchange that symbol with a communicative partner. So to look at the stages of PECS and how exactly it works, we start with phase one, a very basic stage, where it's as simple as the child requests an item and then they receive that item. At this stage, you need two adults, ideally. You need the adult who's going to receive the symbol, they're called the communicative partner, and you need an adult to prompt the child, because remember, we have to explicitly teach these skills. ASD children do struggle to communicate. They don't know the rules, so we've got to teach them those rules. So what you do is you'd start with something highly motivating, something you know that child wants. It could be an item of food, in this case it's an orange. It could be a really motivating toy that you'd like them to play with, anything like that, but the child's going to be motivated to use it. So what you do is maybe you put the orange on the table, you know the child wants that orange, they go to grab that orange, and then the prompter sitting behind the child just directs the child to the symbol. Or if they're not able to direct the child to the symbol quick enough, they might take the symbol as well and pass, okay? So that adult is a prompter. It's showing the child, if you want this, this is what you must do. The communicative partner then takes the symbol and rewards the child instantly with the orange. It's really important that exchange is instant. So that child is making the link, through this symbol I'm communicating and then I'm getting what I want. So that first stage is really as simple as that. And it's important to generalize here as well. Change the communicative partner, change the prompter. So the child is seeing that, oh, this works lots of times. You can introduce other items once they get to grips with it as well. So that's that first stage. Now, the second stage is all about introducing distance, because we all know that sometimes we might want something and the person we need to get it from isn't actually around. So it's about teaching the child that sometimes they need to find someone to communicate with. And with this, what we do, again, we'd have the two adults, we'd have a physical prompter, we'd have the communicative partner again, and you might have some items out. Again, the child goes to grab the items, the prompter gets the symbol, helps the child with the symbol and supports the exchange. Now, eventually with this, you'd almost have like a triangle of interaction going on. Ideally, you'd have the symbols on the wall, maybe on the table, in a PECS book where the child can see. The child then learns to go and get the symbol, and the prompter is just there shuffling the child along to the communicative partner to show them that you need to find the adult and communicate with them. And again, it's important to generalize, to change the communicative partner, perhaps change where you're doing it, introduce persistence, make sure that the child is able to do this on a number of different occasions. Just keep practicing so the child makes that link. Oh, in order to get what I want here, I need to find an adult to communicate with. Okay, so the next stage, stage 3, is all about discriminating between symbols. Because we need to teach the children that different symbols mean different things. And it's not just about handing over any old symbol and then you get what you want. So what I would do here, I'd start with perhaps something the child, you know, the child really likes. It may be, for example, that the child really likes crisps, and something that they don't like. Maybe the child doesn't like biscuits. So you'd have the two symbols there, and whatever symbol the child passes over to their communicative partner, you give them that thing. So if they pass over biscuits, even though you know they want the crisps, you still offer them a biscuit. And that by that, they're learning that actually I need to get the right symbol here. PECS, if you go on the official course, do talk about a correction method, but that's basically what that involves is a prompter basically showing the child which symbol they should be going for. Actually, if you pass the biscuit symbol, you won't get crisps. So the prompter says, oh no, you want this, and basically models there. Also, you can do this with using two symbols that they do like as well, because it's important that children can discriminate between two things they like as well as one they don't like and one they like. So maybe, for example, play. Do they want sand play or water play? And you'd offer them both. And you'll know from the response from the child, oh, they're not very happy. Although they like both sand and water play, today they wanted water play. And again, it's about modelling what they should have chosen and correcting them in a really encouraging way and rewarding them when they choose the right thing by having the activity that they want. Phase 4 of PECS is really all about sentence structure. Up until now, we've just been talking about a simple symbol exchange, but in phase 4, a sentence gets introduced. And it's a very simple way to introduce the sentence. You're just basically doing the same kind of thing. You can use a proper PECS book here, if you'd like, where you've got the strip at the bottom. The child opens their book and they have a sentence, something like, I want ball, or I want cuddly cats, whatever it might be. Now, what I would do is start by putting the I want symbol on there for them. So basically then all they've got to do is select the symbol. So on this one, they've just selected ball, okay? And then you read back to them and point to the symbol, oh, I want ball. You want the ball, and you give them the ball. And then perhaps next time, then you move the I want symbol onto the board and they have to select that as well as the ball. Now, if they don't select that, it's a bit like the correction method in the previous stage. You're modeling, you're encouraging, you might need a prompter in there just to show them how to do it. And then once they get those skills, they will then be taking down the I want themselves and whatever it is that they want. So it's really good for building up sentence structures as well, PECS. And again, that language, each time you use this, you're repeating back that language, I want ball. Okay. And eventually you're going to end up with a symbol like this. This is just a little joke here. I want PECS training, okay? So you would expect the child in the end to be putting down all these symbols, but the key is in this phase to be teaching it gradually. Have the not key symbols down there first, like I want, get them to just select what they actually do want, and then build up by putting I want on there as well, and building up that sentence strip. Okay, phase 5, you can introduce answering. So you're asking them a question and prompting them, which hasn't happened before. So previously, when the child wants something, they've been taught to go and get a symbol or the sentence strip, exchange it with you for what they want. And in this stage, you might actually in a lesson ask them, oh, what do you want? And present them with some symbols for them to choose. iPad are brilliant for things like this. You can use a program like Grid Player, and the children can actually select on the iPad what they want. You might say, what do you want? Hold up Grid Player, and they click on the symbol, I want, I don't know, biscuit, or whatever it is they want. You can use physical symbols here as well. There's no reason for that. They can go and get their PECS board, and in answer to your question. But the key is, in this stage, like all the other stage, it's lots of practice, lots of generalizing, and keep going with those skills till the child gets it. Do lots of different environments, do it with lots of different adults, do it with lots of different types of symbols, so the child gets constant practice and learns to generalize those skills. Moving on to stage 6. Once the child's got the basic structure of a sentence, well, that can be used in endless ways. At the moment, they've just learned to say what they want, but you can really extend this now into learning. So you can have things like here, which is a PECS book, and you can ask the child, oh, what can you see? And then you can introduce I see, and there's lots of different symbols there. So in this case, in the book, there's a picture of a sun. So there's different symbols to choose from, but the child would put down I see and whatever it is they see. So they can actually learn to comment on pictures, comment on books. So it really links in well into learning. You can also do this with an activity I hear, and you can play different sounds and have pictures of what those sounds may be. In special school, I've done this with different instruments, and the children love coming up to the PECS board and putting down what they can hear in music lessons. It's great fun, and it really makes them feel involved and like they can be part of the lesson. At this stage as well, I would introduce things like yes and no, because that's a very easy answer to a question, isn't it? I wouldn't do that with symbols, and I know that the official PECS training as well recommends that you just teach them to nod their head for yes and shake their head for no. They might well already be doing that by this stage, because often through home life and that this is already taught. But if it's not, then certainly introduce that here. Also in phase 6, the help card can be introduced, so the child can actually request help themselves. Oh, I want help. And then you can use other symbols to find out what kind of help they want. Again, in this stage, as in all the others, it's about practicing, about generalizing skills. And children can really learn an awful lot of language and communication skills through this. It's a really good way of teaching children those basic communication skills. Now, you'll work in mainstream schools, so hopefully the children will pass through the stages quite quickly. Often in special schools, children could be in a stage for a long time. It can take even more practice, but hopefully in mainstream, you'd expect children to pass through the stages a little bit quicker and be using those verbal skills alongside it as well. So when they're sitting there with the PECS book with you, telling you what I can see, hopefully they'd start by actually saying, I see the sun, and you're building up those skills. Just flick on now. Those are the key stages of PECS. I just wanted to end on this slide because, as I said at the start, enabling a child to communicate eases so much frustration and therefore makes them happy, develops their well-being, and reduces inappropriate behaviour. I can't stress how being able to communicate how you feel and what you need really helps your well-being. So when you're thinking about those children in your school, really think, if you have got non-verbal children or children with limited language, how can I use PECS to help them? Okay, and just going to end here. So a child who can communicate is a happier child. We've got a little boy here asking for water, unable to ask for water. It's in his head, but he can't bring it out and say it. Out comes the symbol package. This one's on an iPad. and he's able to say, I want water, and we've got a smile on his face. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. If you do have any questions, you can always email me and contact me. Like I said, PECS is quite a specific communication strategy. So if you do need more detail, particularly around the different stages and the correction method when children make mistakes, I do recommend the official PECS training from Pyramid. And I'll just flick back to that first slide. So you've got the website there should you need it. But on a basic level, if you're just easing that child into mainstream, who perhaps got very limited verbal skills, using some of the ideas that I've used here would really, really support them and ease their frustration and improve their school life. Thank you very much, and I'm going to end there.